Hello, and welcome. I'm VelvettB, and thanks for joining me today for the speed build of the winter home. So this was originally a shell challenge. Well, it was a shell challenge, and it was created by Nasena. So part of the shell challenge was that the landscaping had to stay that was already with the build. You could add to it, but you had to keep what was already there. So that was quite an interesting challenge. So if you don't know me, I'm VelvettB, and I am a big lover of The Sims 4. One of my very favorite thing to do in The Sims 4 is to build. So I love a building challenge, like a shell challenge. I always like to get creative and have a little bit of fun with it. I also love to gameplay in The Sims 4. I love a good challenge when it comes to gameplay. So you'll see a lot of Let's Plays on my channel, as well as some tips and tricks. So if you do want a few tips and tricks along the way, then I have a few of those there too. But today we are doing a building challenge, and I adore them. Yeah, I don't know what it is about shell challenges, but I love to get creative with them. I don't know why that is, but my creative brain just comes into play when I am building in a shell challenge, because I don't know, I see the challenge and I'm just, I have to make it different. I have to make it not look like how it was at the start of the challenge. And it's just one of those lizard brain things of mine, and I can't help myself, and I'm just like, you're right, I have to make it completely different. and I just go hard, and and you know what? It's fun for me. But I also really enjoy the creativity of it. So, it just gets those creative juices flowing, and I love that for me. So, the thing with this build is, I guess the idea of this build is that I wanted to create like a modern A-frame style cabin, was where I was kind of going, with that. So, I'm just kind of picturing like a really cozy cabin in the woods kind of thing. But I did want to go a lot more, like a slightly more modern with it. And you'll see here I'll be mucking around with the roofing for a while, because the roofing was the most complicated part of this build. Also doing the interior on the top floor, because the roofing kind of got in the way a little bit. But when I was gameplaying, or playtesting the build out, it was actually really fine to play The Sims in the house. It was just for some reason when I was building the interior, just the roof was really getting in the way there, and I don't know what that was about. Anyway, it is what it is. Sometimes The Sims does things in the game. So you'll sort of see, I'm just playing around with angles and just how to sort of fill in angles and how I wanted that to kind of all come together. So the whole idea that I was kind of going for was this big sort of A-frame roof, and I'll extend that down even further at some point soon. And I just wanted to do kind of like a feature triangle on the interior of the roof as well, just as a little feature. So this is sort of starting to shape up as I'm gonna have it. It was just difficult just finding the balance. Part of the problem was, because we had the landscaping already in place, it meant that I really needed to kind of use the same size lot. I guess in hindsight I could have changed it to a bigger lot and just added to the landscaping, but I didn't actually think of it at the time. So, whoops. But anyway, so I'm working with the 30 by 20 lot here, and that meant that I was just kind of restricted how far the roof would kind of extend. But you know what, it ended up looking pretty cool as it was. So, at the end of the day, it all worked out. So yay! So you can sort of see the shape of the roof that I'm getting there, and around the back, I end up having like a hipped roof coming around the back, but it's actually all glass. So you kind of got all a glass roof coming in through the back, and then this epic big A-frame kind of style roof around the front, and modern cabin kind of vibe, just something a little different. And I feel like when you look at the house, you don't see the original, which was my point. It's why I was doing it the way I was doing it. So yeah, it did take quite a bit of figuring out just to try and work out how that was going to sit, how that was going to look, and how that, you know, how to bring it all together. But with a little bit of fiddling and figuring out, it all came together. So you'll see that evolve as the build goes on, just how the roof kind of works. I had like a little bit of the roof kind of sticking through my A-frame from the corner there, so I ended up having to add like a little bit of a curve to the roof, which ideally I didn't necessarily want, but that was kind of the only way, just to get those little, you can kind of see them on the roof there, those little teeny tiny corners, and they were driving me bonkers. It's like, I don't want those there. But yeah, I did end up having to just slightly curve the roof down and to really just hide those. Yeah, and it did take me a little bit of figuring out just to get which roof combo I wanted around the back, and to make that sort of work. But we got there in the end, because I figured, you know, you kind of like with the way that the hills are around the house, because the hills kind of wrap around the shell, and I couldn't change that. So you didn't really have any sort of view from the back side of the house. So it was kind of yeah, a pretty limited view all around, actually. And then by the time I got the roof on, there was just this is one of the least windowed houses I've probably done in a while, just because there wasn't a lot of need for all the windows to go in all around the house. But you know, there is some windows around the sides as well. I mean, you got a little bit of a view there, so it's not so bad. I decided that also as I was looking at the roof, I was kind of like, well, you know what? It just kind of feels a bit chunky, like there's a big chunk of roof. So I thought, why not put something else in the middle there? And then I sort of did the glass, and I was like, that's just not quite right. So I did like a different colored and different style of roofing type just through the middle, just to add a little bit of a break from the unrelenting black of it all. And I think that actually worked a treat. So I was like, oh, you know what? I actually like that. It's like, you know, the roof's got a bit of a racing stripe. But I thought that was a cool way to do it, just with the different texture on the roof. It just looked quite funky and quite modern as well. So I was really happy with that. So I did like a lot of woodsy kind of rustic colours and a bit of stone, and, you know, just kept it up with sort of the rustic cabin vibe, but in a modern way was my sort of intention as I finished off the exterior of the house and moved on to the interior. And because it is a shell challenge, I'm not allowed to add any exterior walls as well. So, you know, I had to work around that. So I'm using sort of half walls where I need to add in like a little bit of extra wall space, things like that. So, you know, it's just those little tricks that you come up with. As you do enough shell challenges along the way, you sort of learn a few tricks of things that you can do. So if you want to add like a false wall, adding in like those vertical panels from Eco Lifestyle are good for that. So you can create like, you know, a false wall. You can use half walls instead of like your full walls, because you're allowed to use half walls with the shell challenge. So little tricks like that do help you change the shape of the shell and, you know, really make it look a lot different from where you began. And I feel like I've really achieved that with this particular shell. I think it's really funky and a lot of fun. And it was a good challenge for me as well, as far as working out how to get that roof to work and how to get that shape working within the confines of the 30 by 20 lot that I was using. So yeah, really could have put that on a bigger lot. Hindsight, wonderful thing, right? It's like I didn't have to change the landscaping. I just had to morph more landscaping around it. It's like, honestly, why didn't I think that? Because I was like, all through the start of the build, when I was like working on the roof, it's just like, oh, I need a bigger lot. I was like, I really could have had one. Oh dear. You know, one of these wonderful things that you just sort of think of as you go along. So I'm going to leave you guys there to enjoy the rest of the build. I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please remember to hit that subscription button, and, you know, some likes and some comments. Even getting the notification bell on is super helpful for me as a creator. And you know, if you like the build, why not come back and enjoy another one sometime along the way, because I have plenty of them coming out. usually at least a couple a week. So, you know, come back and enjoy another build, maybe a let's play. I've got plenty of those on my channel too. All right, I'm finished painting myself out now. So you guys enjoy the rest of the build, and I want to say thank you to Nasina for hosting this wonderful shell challenge. It was a delight, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.